Hey, young people. Well, let's get to this Tyre Nichols criminal that got beat up and he died. I think the cops earned some hate. I think some of the cops were out of control, and some of the cops did okay. And I'm going to cover it, so it won't be popular. So hold on to your hat, because you'll probably be upset at me at one point or another. Here we go. Police chief, black female, not hired because of her competency. Actually, rumors that she was fired and she was doing some illegal shit, but they promoted her to keep the peace in the community, because color is more important than effectiveness. Color is more important than doing the right thing. And this is why we're here, where 5 black officers beat a black person, and they're still saying it's racist, because you never hold people accountable for their actions. Tyre was breaking the law. He was fighting and he was resisting. And I'll show you, and I'll give you a cop's perspective and the legal way. And the cops did wrong. They used excessive force. I'll tell you that too. But you won't want to hear the part where the suspect, Tyre, did anything wrong, because that's not popular right now. So here's the chief talking about her Scorpion unit.
Scorpion unit was put together to add extra visibility in the community and also develop relationships with community members.
No unit of meat eaters, task forces that are gone out there. I've been on a gang task force, been on an auto theft task force, been on a gun violence task force. Never were we out there to build community support. We were out there to identify, chase, and arrest bad dudes. Period. That's who we focused on. We weren't shaking hands. We weren't kissing butt. We weren't going about being friendly. If you want to connect it to community policing, we're removing bad guys that prey on good people. Okay? And those guys tend to be aggressive, and they tend to take care of business. They're not wearing their pink panties. They're not carrying their rainbow flag. They're not being scared. They don't want to hand out donuts. We don't want to hang out and put flowers out. That's not what task forces do. So her saying it's done to develop, she may be saying, I told the community that we're having this unit to make you safer. The same bullshit the government always uses. But task forces and units like this, we didn't give a shit about community relations. We were out there to identify, locate, track, chase, and get bad guys into custody that were preying on the community. Period. No ifs, ands, buts, or coconuts.
Members. The acronyms stand for Street Crimes Operations to Restore Peace in Our Neighborhoods.
I said when this first came out, I said Scorpion unit. People were like, why would they pick on Scorpion? That was mean and stinging, and it's a violent animal. And cops always like these badass things so you can make a cool patch. And I mean, it's just what government does. It's a scorpion. It looks cool. It appears to be tough. I mean, they're not going to make an acronym of flower police or, that's just not going to be a great acronym, but whatever.
And it basically was that people felt like the police department was allowing gun violence in certain.
First of all, guns aren't violent. There's no such thing as gun violence. There's people and individual violence, and they may use guns, cars, knives, clubs, or physical force, or numbers in gangs, and home invasions, etc. Guns do not commit violence. This is the bullshit they want to tell you. This is where they make the community victims, because they take away guns so they can't protect themselves. So the community may have felt that they're not getting protected, which is true, because government doesn't want to protect you. They just want you to pay more taxes so they can have more government and have more control. It has nothing to do with protecting you. Government doesn't care about you. Okay? Rick, that's not fair. You should care. Whatever. I'm telling you hard truths. You want comforting lies? Go to someone that will agree with you. I'm not trying to agree or disagree with anybody. I'm just telling you my experience as a cop. Here we go.
Communities. And it wasn't that. It was just that police officers that are responding to calls for service had such high volumes of calls. The whole idea.
High volumes of calls. Why is there a high volume call in these so-called communities where we have to have black police chiefs and black police officers? Why is the calls for service so high there? Rick, it's because guns are out of control. Oh, it's the guns causing the calls. I get it.
Idea that the Scorpion unit is a bad unit. I just have a problem with that.
Yeah, she's got a problem with it because it was her unit. She identified it. And it was probably a good unit. I thought I read one article where they removed 100,000 felons, 12,000 guns out of unlocked. The Scorpion unit was kicking ass and doing a good job. The problem when you work on these units and you're doing all that is sometimes they get out of control if they don't have good supervision, if they don't have ethical cops on the team that says, hey, I don't mind chasing and beating the crap out of a guy that's fighting us, not beating the crap out of him, but taking him into custody. But if we have to beat him down because he's fighting us to get him into custody, I don't have a problem with that. Use force necessary to get him into custody. I got no problem with that. Problem I got is when you got 3 or 4 cops holding a guy down, another guy's punching him and kicking him because you got pussy cops that are taking advantage of a guy that can't fight back. Tyre was no angel, and he did plenty, and I'll cover it in a video for those that can't see it, because right now it's just popular to say, poor victim, poor victim, poor victim.
Unit, I just have a problem with that.
I thought she said, evidently it was another video. All right, here we go. Here's a video. So this might be multiple part series because there's a lot going on here. So this is from a private street cam, and this is where they're holding him. This is after they kicked him in the head. Another officer is kicking him right now. So let's see this. Punches him once. In case you didn't see that. Let's see where he gets up here. Hitting him with a baton in the back. Another cop comes in and punches him. Punch. Punch him again. Punch while he's handcuffed, being held. Can't defend himself. Assault under the color. Just brutal. But I want to get to how we got here, because this is the only thing that people want to look at. I'm not defending any of these cops, and it's bullshit, and they're cowards, and they're punks, and they're no better than Uvalde cops that show up and let kids get slaughtered while they hide in the hallway with all their tactical gear, and they get to run around and say how tough they are. These guys get to run around with their Scorpion patch, and I'm on the Scorpion unit, and those guys are badasses. Oh, man, they handle some bad dudes. And then they act like pussies. So I'm not defending these guys. But let's see how we got here. Maybe little Tyre's contributions to this incident. Okay, so when I first started watching this body cam, I was watching the speed on him because they said they pulled him over for reckless driving. So the PD isn't doing a good job on telling a story. If I was releasing this video, I would want to show his reckless driving. I would want to show that the cops didn't just target him. There's rumors out there that this cop, our Tyre, was sleeping with one of the cops' officers, and that's why they did it. And these false rumors and false narratives always start in order to confuse the truth. And since the government is already lying and the media lies, if you start a few other false lies, then nobody knows what to believe, and then people just start ignoring the story. So as the PD or government, they should really be doing a story on, this is the video where the cops saw him driving like an idiot. And this is where he was endangering the public. This is where they chased him. And then this is what he did when we stopped him. Instead, this is the first video and the only video that I can find to where they released the body cam of an officer showing up to back up. So when I'm looking at the speed, I'm like, he's not really driving real fast. I don't see things flying by quickly as he's driving. Speed looks maybe, 40 there? Maybe this is 60, 80, 100. So we're not even 40 miles an hour. Doesn't look like he's racing to anything. Well, it sounds like, as the video goes on, this is a guy backing up the already stop in place. Where is the video of Tyre driving recklessly? That's how you stop rumors. When you don't show that, so now he's up to 60 miles an hour. When you don't show the video of the suspect to justify the cops weren't lying about the stop, that's when you get these false narratives. So, was he reckless driving? We don't know. The cop said he was. We don't know. Who believes a cop nowadays? Well, if you're an idiot, you do. If you've got any common sense whatsoever, you don't believe a cop, government, the media, or anybody. Okay? Verify the facts. So, now he's stopping, and then he gets out, and this is the confrontation where there's already 1 or 2 cops here. So, as a cop, when I see this stop, and I've stopped cars like this before, I don't usually pull over into oncoming traffic and block a car in to stop him. If I'm chasing somebody and he stops, I usually pull in behind him, which tells me this cop that was chasing him had to do something to kind of cut him off and get in front of him in order to make the stop. This is not what I call a normal traffic stop. And my question from my critical thinking is, why did the cop do this instead of stop like this cop or the body cam we're seeing? So one cop's behind him and another cop pulls against the flow of traffic to pull in front. This is what we usually call a hide stop or a quick stop, or the guy is probably going to run, or it's high risk, get your ass on him. He's being a dumbass. Or this cop stopped him first, and as he was doing this, he was like, get up here quick, he's reaching, and this cop come hauling ass up, cuts him off, and jumps out of the car. This tells me that Tyre is not the angel, Saint Tyre that the community is making him out to be, just because he died and fought with the cops. So again, I have to say it. I'm not defending the cops that beat this guy when they shouldn't have, and they should go to prison. I got no problem with that. I got a problem when we don't tell both sides of the story, and Tyre is suddenly this angel that was out jogging or going to get Skittles or going to bring his mom a cup of coffee because he was such a good son as he left doctor school. That's the narrative bullshit that I don't like, okay? This guy is no freaking angel, and when he fights, I'm going to tell you why the cops used pepper spray and tased him. Here we go. So, we have guns out, and we have language. Motherfucker, show me your hands, get the fuck out of the car. Rick, why are they being so mean to him? Why can't they treat people? Look, this is not a normal traffic stop. This guy is already resisting. He's already trying to give the cops a hard time. He's either eating dope, hiding a weapon. We haven't heard anything found in the car yet. Maybe nothing was found in the car. Again, if I was a cop PR guy, I would be ensuring that we showed Tyre's reckless behavior. I would just do cuts and paste. I would put all the videos in full like they've done, and then I would do cuts and paste. Here's how he was driving. Here's when we stopped him. Here's when officers showed up. Here's what he did when we showed up. We had to draw guns. We thought he was reaching. He failed to comply. He was being a no person, no people belong on the ground. We teach that at the academy. Cops know it. If you've been watching my channel, you know it. If you resist, start reaching, and give the cops a reason to put you on the ground, you're going on the ground. Okay? Tyre is setting up his escape. Cops know it. Street savvy cops know it. These guys on this team know it. They're meat eaters. They've done this 1,000 times, and they know what he's doing. He's playing a game to get them to drop their guard so he can make his escape. And guess what? In fact, he does escape. No, Rick, he ran because they tased him. No. He set their ass up. His whole body position during this struggle was, I'm going to get my chance to run. Okay? He was feigning cooperation. He was faking he was being cooperative. Tyre is no angel. Rick, you can't say that. Saint Tyre is the wonder child, and he's going to change policing. And those mean-back police officers that weren't really black, who were really racist, because that's what the media's reporting now. I'm not saying that. The media's saying it. The black officers were really racist, and they weren't really black. Perfect. Because we can never hold criminals who are black accountable. Okay? Instead, we have to make them into saints. Here we go. Black officers had their guns out, drawing, yelling, motherfucker. This doesn't happen on every traffic stop. I've been stopped by the cops probably 50 times. I tend to drive fast. Cops have never motherfucked me and pulled a gun on me. Never. Well, Rick, that's because you're white. Well, that's because you're an idiot. Sorry, that's not why.
Get the fuck out the car. Get the fuck out the fucking car. Damn, I didn't do anything. Hey, I didn't hurt.
He didn't do anything. Damn, that's the first time I heard that. All the arrests of all the cops, of all the streets, of all the traffic stops. I've never heard anybody sad and do something and not want to get out of the car. Shocking. This is really odd behavior. It's normal, people, when you're dealing with criminals, when you're dealing with high-risk offenders, when you've got a team out there who, these cops aren't out here writing tickets. You think these cops that are doing this want to write? They don't give a shit about tickets. They want to chase bad guys or meat eaters. They want to get bad guys off the street and stop them from violating the community. These guys are doing a good job. They did it shitty here, and they used excessive force. Not so much these guys, the second group.
Turn your ass around. All right.
You hear they're all right? You hear Tyre being cooperative? All right. Words do not match actions. for all you experts that think he's saying all right and are going to push the narrative. He was trying to comply and he wasn't resisting. Well, that's because you're an idiot. He's resisting from the jump street. He was already resisting if cops had to have their guns out and yell at him and pull him out of the car and call for backup. They don't do that for people who are not resisting. Okay? Because then other cops will call you a pussy. Why the fuck did you get me here? You got an 80-year-old lady and you're on the phone saying I need backup to get her out of the car. Really, dude? You're a pussy. Cops don't do that. They call for backup because they knew this guy was resisting and fighting. Rick St. Tyre never did anything wrong in his life. Okay? Here we go. You hear these cops say on the ground several times. All these cops are out of breath when this fight is over, when St. Tyre flies away with his wings of angels and runs down the street. Okay? All these cops are completely out of breath. They are fighting with full force trying to get this guy on the ground and get him in the handcuffs. Not only do they not get him in handcuffs, he escapes and runs away, and they're all out of breath. Rick, that's because they are fat cops, they're eating donuts, and they're out of shape. No, that's because they're trying to get this guy into custody, and he's fighting, but he's saying, all right, it's cool, but he's not complying, and they know it.
All right, you don't do that, okay? Get on the fucking ground!
They yell at him to get on the ground several times. They are not yelling that because he's getting on the ground, people. Okay? Rick, they did hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe, Rick. They don't listen to people. No shit, we don't listen to them. Until I get you on the ground and get you handcuffs, I don't give a shit what you say. I've already told you that. I don't know if you have a gun. I haven't had a chance to search you because you're resisting. I haven't had a chance to pat you down to find out if you're trying to get a gun or dope or whatever. I haven't had any of that because you're resisting. I want you on the ground so I can handcuff you, and then we will talk. And then we will stop. I'm not saying all cops are good. There's cops out there who do bullshit. And after they get him in handcuffs, they kick him and they punch him. And they're wrong and they ought to go to prison. So don't come here and try to tell me that I'm bootlicking these cops. I'm telling you what the cops did right and what St. Tyre got a little mud on his wings of sainthood by his actions. All right?
Get on the ground! Raise your ass! All right, I'm on the ground.
All right, I'm on the ground. Who thinks he's on the ground because he wanted to go and he went there voluntarily, or because he has 3 cops screaming and yelling using full force to get him on the ground? Okay?
Lay down! Yes, sir. Please stay on the ground! Okay.
Notice he is not on the ground. He's sitting on the ground, but he's not laying on the ground. And his hands are still free. And they're still trying to control his hands so he can't reach. So he can't pull a knife or gun out. Maybe he has one, maybe he doesn't. Rick, he's trying to comply and they're just being too aggressive and you've never been a black man and you... Shut up. That's all bullshit. This guy was white, they would have done the same thing. These cops are not doing anything wrong, in my opinion. Now, if I find out more information that the traffic stop was bogus and he was just on his way to bring a cup of coffee to his mom and they just suddenly did this for no reason, these meat-eater cops that have arrested thousands of bad criminals and removed thousands of guns from the street, they somehow just wanted to pick on this guy for no reason because they were bored. I don't buy it. Okay? When I got bored, I went out hunting for bad guys doing bad shit. I didn't pick on people that weren't doing nothing. All right?
You don't get on the ground! What?
Notice he's looking this dismissive, this I'm in control, you can't make me, I'm not going to get... These cops are trying to get him on the ground. Ricky's not even resisting. He's not going to the ground. Why? Because he's planning on running. Because he doesn't want to get in handcuffs. Because criminals know once you get in handcuffs, the odds of you escaping shrinks tremendously. So he doesn't want to get in handcuffs because he knows he still has a chance to get away. We have yet to hear St. Tyre's criminal history, how many times he's been arrested, and we can't hear that now because people will say, you're just trying to victim blame Rick and you're picking on black people and you're picking... It's all bullshit, people. This guy has a criminal history. I'm telling you, this guy is not, this is not his first arrest. He was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. Okay? I don't care how much you want to put 14 sets of wings on him because he's sainthood.
Now! All right, okay. All right.
Saying all right, this leg here is a huge indicator that most people will miss and won't point out. This stops him from going on the ground and allows him to get up. When you get both legs together and him on his belly, proned out on his belly, the odds of him getting up is easier when we control the feet and we get him in handcuffs. Career criminals or people that have gone through this before know this. This leg, you will notice, he never gives up to where he can go prone on his belly. He always stays on his side or keeps his leg so they can't get him on his belly and get him in handcuffs. Watch it closely.
Okay, dude, damn. Turn the fuck around. Put your fucking hands on my back, bitch.
3 cops, 1, 2, 3 cops trying to get him on his belly. And they can't, and he's not. And people are like, he wasn't resisting. Cops are out of control. Really? Well, if you want cops to go out there and just ask bad guys to give up, and when they say no, then just let them run around and shoot and kill people. Hey, I tried. I asked them. Well, that's because you're an idiot. That's why crime's going up. These guys are trying to take a resistive dude into custody, and he is resisting. Make no mistake about it.
Put your hands behind your back for a quick. Okay, stop. I'm gonna knock your ass the fuck out. You guys are really doing a lot right now.
Notice he never goes on his belly. As much as they try, this leg prevents him from going on his belly.
Bro, lay down. I'm just trying to go home.
Bro, lay down. These cops have asked him, I don't know how many times to comply, and he is still not complying. And in fact, he gets away. Exactly what these cops knew. If we don't get him in custody, he's going to run. Even though there's 3 of us, we got to get his ass in handcuffs or he will run. Remember, cops are using less force than they could. They could have kicked him in his head and punched him in his face here and probably got him in custody. The guys that got him in custody, in fact, did kick him in the face and punched him. These cops are using less force than they could use, trying to get him in custody with less force. And guess what? They fail, and he gets away. And that's what nobody wants to talk about.
Man, if you don't lay down, I am on the ground.
Still arguing. I am on the ground. They still can't get him in custody. Arms in front, legs in front. He's planning his escape. I've done this 1,000 times. I know when guys are going to run. This guy wants to run. Had I never seen this video and he showed me, I'd have went, this guy's going to run. He's going to get away. If they don't get him in handcuffs, this guy's going to get away. I would have said that before I knew he got away, because I've done it so many times and I've seen it play out.
You're a stomach! I got you. Get the fuck back. Stop! I'm not doing it.
Hold up, I'm not doing anything. Feigning. Hand going up to push off so he can stand up. See, I'm complying. Hold up, hold up. That means I'm getting my breath. I'm planning. I'm waiting for you guys to drop your guard. I'm waiting till I see my opportunity so I can make my break. Okay? Wow. He gets up and stands up. How did that happen, Rick? How did 3 cops, not keep him on the ground? Because they were using minimum force, less force than they could have used or maybe should have used to get him into custody, and he got away. This is what happens when you follow the rules sometime. I'm not a big deal. I'm not saying these cops should have kicked him in the head. I'm saying this guy got away because these cops were not doing enough force to keep him in custody, and he was able to escape. Rick, you're just taking the cop side. Hey, I haven't got to the video yet where the cops are being dickheads because I'm going to roast them. But right now, I'm roasting Tyre, who caused all this shit, okay, which nobody wants to talk about. And he gets away. 3 cops. They had to yank him out at gunpoint. They had to fight him out of the car. They had to fight to try to get handcuffs. And he gets away. Rick, he wasn't doing anything wrong, and the cops, and it's just because he was sleeping with some cops, and they didn't, he wasn't even reckless driving. He was just a good guy going out to buy Skittles and out for a jog. Okay? You can put whatever bullshit narrative you want. I'm telling you, it's all bullshit. He gets away.
Oh, shit.
Remember, cops have bulletproof vests, guns, extra ammo, tasers, medical kits. They have a lot of equipment. Most guys can outrun cops because we're carrying a lot of shit. And when we're running at a guy that we haven't searched, at least when I ran after guys, my gun was out. Because if he pulled a gun and turned around, I wanted to shoot. I didn't want to have to draw my gun. So when you're running with a gun in your hand, you're off balance. You're keeping it in front of you. You can't run as fast as you can if you're swinging your arms with nothing in your hands. All these reasons are why people get away and we catch them. I get it. I'm not really mad at Tyre for trying to get away. I get it. He's a criminal. It's his job to get away. These guys are cops. It's their guys to catch them. They failed. We'll get them later. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We got his car. Rick, why would he leave his car? Why would a guy run off and leave his car? Rick, he was scared of the police and he thought that's bullshit. He's carrying dope or gun that he ditched when he was running and he got away. He didn't want to get handcuffed because he knew he was going to prison because he had a gun or drugs. And I can't prove a negative, but I'm telling you from experience, that's why he ran and that's why he left his car. If he didn't have nothing to hide, he'd have went, fuck it, I'm going to see you guys. Go ahead, handcuff me. This is bullshit. That's what he would have done. He wouldn't have left his car and ran away. He wanted to ditch shit that was going to send him to prison. And he got away and he did ditch it. All right? So now we get into the cops. They call it in.
Hey, Ross. Taser was deployed. Suspect is running down.
You hear these guys out of breath fighting? They were fighting with all their might. Because it takes more energy to get somebody in custody when you're trying to use control holds, hold them down, not hurt them, not field goal kick their arm and snap it, not field goal kick them in the head, not soccer kick them in the head. It takes more energy to use less force. If you wrestle with somebody and don't punch them, it takes more energy. These cops are blown their little adrenaline pump and they are trashed, breathing hard, trying to suck oxygen.
Ross. Slim build, blue jeans, and a hoodie.
Blue jeans and a hoodie in the hood. You just described probably half the hood. I mean, that's pretty common attire.
Ross, when we last saw him.
At least we got his car, right? We're going to search his car. How come we haven't heard one thing or seen one police report on what they found in the car or what they didn't find in the car? How come we haven't heard that? How come we haven't heard whether or not it's in fact his car? And how did he afford his car? And where he worked? And what job he had? How come we haven't heard all that? If he's such a saint, they should be putting out there. He worked 40 hours a week at Pizza Hut, at IBM, at freaking MIT. I don't care. Wherever the hell he worked. How come we're not hearing what a great employee he was? How come we're not hearing how he afforded a nice car like he has? How come we're not hearing that? How come we're not hearing that he's never been arrested? Why, Rick? Because you ask questions and maybe you'll get to the truth. If you just believe the bullshit that they're putting out, then you'll be a dummy. And then you'll come here and I'll offend you when I call you an idiot.
Check, every charges on him.
What's up? I got you.
Okay, 29.
The bastard.
They,
All right, your car's right in front of you.
This is my car. Grab my water.
All right, hang on. Where's your water? Negative 2938. Where are my damn...
this guy lost his glasses. So this is St. Tyre's car. Pretty nice car. 4-door. A lot of criminals like 2 doors. I wonder why he has a car. I wonder, maybe, I know, he was taking his mom's car out to wash it for her, and the mean cops just attacked him for no reason. That's it. That's what we'll all believe. Freaking idiots. All right, now we're going to get into where they catch him afterwards, because in this video, they just kind of wash their hands, wash their eyes out. They got pepper spray. Now, another thing I don't know is how many of these cops are at the second scene. Again, I don't have a clear picture, people. We're getting bits and pieces that fit narratives. We don't have a clear picture. The PD, because it's run by idiots for idiots, they don't have the common sense to say, let's make our case with all the video that we have, because they have it. Let's make our case that we were dealing with a convicted felon, a prior felon, somebody with an extensive criminal history that's ran from the cops before. Let's show his juvenile record, that he was arrested 37 times with his juvenile, but now it's sealed because our government doesn't want poor criminals that are young to have to deal with the consequences when they get older. So we hide and suppress juvenile criminal records. Okay? Rick, is to protect them. No, it's not. It's to make them better criminals so we can't use their prior actions. Because the number one predictor for future behavior is prior behavior. And government doesn't want to label or stereotype people. Okay?
Left eye again?
Yeah.
Is that a white officer helping a black officer? I thought all white officers were racist. This is very odd footage. This is like a unicorn. Because, you know, we're always told that all white cops just hate everybody that's black. Nice car. Wonder how he got that car. Wow. Alright, so this is just, if you want to go watch this, I'll put a link to where all these videos are.
What's up? Right.
So if you go to this link here on Venmo.com, City of Memphis, they have 4 videos. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For some reason, they couldn't put them in order. I'm not sure who's running their freaking video department. But we have 1 down here, 2 up here in video. So now we're going to go to video 2. Okay? Next part, this is part 1. Part 2 will be video 2. We'll make it easy. Video 1 was part 1. Rick, why are you talking to us like... Whatever. Hang on. Here we go. Part 2.